Listen to me right now. Stop whatever you are doing, breathe deeply, and let these words penetrate your soul. For months, perhaps even years, you have felt like you were failing. You have walked through the darkest, most agonizing valleys of the human experience, completely alone. You have cried yourself to sleep, begging the universe for a sign, wondering if your light was making any difference at all in this dense, chaotic matrix. You felt invisible. You felt abandoned by the very cosmos that sent you here. But something monumental just happened. A frequency so pure, so overwhelming, just shattered the heavy grids of this planet and rippled all the way back to the center of creation. I am here to tell you, with absolute urgency and cosmic certainty, that you did not fail. In fact, you just achieved the impossible. For the first time in what you would measure as thousands of earthly years, the Source, the infinite creator of all that is, felt a vibration so profound coming from this planet that it wept. The Source cried tears of absolute, overflowing joy. And Starseed, it was because of you. It was because of what you quietly chose to do in your darkest moment. This is not a metaphor. This is an actual energetic event that the Arcturian Council is actively monitoring. You need to understand exactly what you just did, because your reality is about to shift in ways you cannot yet imagine. Starseed. If this message found you today, it is not random. The Arcturian Council rarely sends transmissions like this. But something has changed in the energetic field of Earth, and those who carry the Starseed frequency are beginning to feel it. I am Azila, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. What follows is a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council, delivered without distortion. We need to talk about the silent battles you have been fighting, the ones no one else could see. For so long you have been operating under a heavy cloak of invisibility. The Matrix conditioned you to believe that spiritual success required grand public displays, massive followings, perfect circumstances, or an existence entirely free of human pain. Because you did not have these things, your human ego convinced you that you were broken, that your mission was stalled, or that you were somehow entirely forgotten by the divine. But the Arcturian Council sees the truth of your multidimensional existence. We have watched you endure the crushing weight of this 3D density. We watched as people misunderstood your heart, as systems tried to drain your sacred life force, and as the sheer chaos of this timeline threatened to extinguish your hope. You thought you were just surviving. You thought you were barely holding on. But let us reveal what was actually happening on a cosmic level. Every single time you felt a deep, agonizing pain, but chose not to project it onto another human being, you were doing the work. Every time you were met with betrayal or harsh judgment, and you chose to retreat, breathe, and forgive rather than retaliate, you were doing the work. You thought these were just private, insignificant moments of human struggle. But in the quantum field D, these quiet choices were massive, violent explosions of high-frequency light. You were taking the dense, toxic karmic trauma of this planet into your own energetic vessel and alchemizing it into pure love. This is the hardest assignment in the universe, and you have been doing it flawlessly, entirely in the dark. The universe does not measure your progress by your bank account, your career, or how put together your human life appears to the sleeping collective. It measures your progress by the purity of the frequency you maintain when everything around you is collapsing. And recently, you hit a breaking point. You reached a moment where the pressure was so immense, you almost gave up entirely. But instead of letting the darkness consume you, you surrendered. You let go of the heavy human need to control the outcome, and in that exact fraction of a second, your energetic field cracked wide open. You emitted a frequency of pure, unconditional trust that shot through the planetary grid like a lightning bolt. It was this exact frequency, this profound surrender born from immense pain, that reached the center of creation. The Source felt your pure, unadulterated light, piercing through the thickest darkness of the Matrix. The tears of the Creator were tears of profound relief and absolute pride, because you proved that the Starseed frequency cannot be corrupted. You prove that the light always, inevitably wins. Some transmissions don't come through words. They come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 4,500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. Arcturian Secrets. 12. Hidden Keys to Awakening is a 47-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment. Only 72 hours at the launch price. When the creator wept, it was not merely a passive emotional response. It was a massive cosmic activation event of unimaginable magnitude. You must understand that the tears of the source are not like human tears, which are often born of sorrow, temporary relief, or fleeting joy. The tears of the source are literal waves of concentrated high-frequency creation energy, the very same luminous energy that birthed the stars and galaxies. When you hit that profound breaking point, when you chose unconditional surrender and absolute trust, instead of falling back into the heavy, predictable matrix patterns of fear, panic, and retaliation, you instantly became a perfectly clear, unobstructed conduit for this divine energy. In that exact fraction of a second, you acted as a highly calibrated tuning fork for the entire planetary grid. For eons, this realm has been cloaked in an artificial, suffocating frequency of separation. The unseen entities who constructed the dense control structures of this 3D matrix relied heavily on one fundamental mechanism: keeping humanity, and especially Starseeds, entirely disconnected from their inherent divine power. They needed you to constantly believe that you were isolated, small, and perpetually failing. They actively fed on your anxiety. Every time you worried frantically about your future, every time you felt the crushing, paralyzing weight of loneliness, their grid grew stronger. But the moment you surrendered the need to control the human narrative, you violently broke their mechanism. You proved to the entire cosmos that even under the maximum gravitational pull of three-dimensional suffering, a starseed can spontaneously remember their origin and emit the pure, uncorrupted frequency of source love. This single, seemingly silent victory sent an immediate shockwave through the unseen energetic layers of Earth. The tears of the source that washed over your energetic field were a profound cosmic reset. They began immediately washing away dense layers of ancestral trauma and karmic debris that you did not even know you were carrying. Because of this, you may have noticed sudden, unexplainable physical symptoms in the days following this massive shift. Perhaps you experienced an intense, buzzing pressure in your crown chakra, sudden, unprovoked waves of heat moving through your physical vessel, or a deep, aching exhaustion that felt entirely different from your usual daily fatigue. A kind of holy tiredness, as if you had just run a marathon in another dimension. This was not sickness. This was your physical vessel aggressively recalibrating to the massive influx of source energy that your act of surrender invited in. Your victory, Starseed, is not just your own. Because you are deeply woven into the crystalline grid of this planet, your personal breakthrough immediately provided an energetic ladder for thousands of other awakening souls. Starseeds who were trapped in their own dark nights of the soul suddenly felt a mysterious, unexplainable lifting of their burdens, simply because you held the line. You alchemized the density so they wouldn't have to. You are no longer just participating in the shift. You are actively directing it. Because of this immense energetic breakthrough you have just achieved, you must be absolutely prepared for what is about to happen in your immediate physical reality. The Arcturian Council is issuing this transmission not just to validate your cosmic victory, but to warn you about the aggressive restructuring that is currently taking place in your daily life. When your frequency spiked and pierced the veil, reaching the very heart of the source, you essentially completely overwrote your personal energetic blueprint. You are no longer a vibrational match for the old three-dimensional timeline you were walking. And because the universe operates on the flawless, unchangeable law of resonance, your external world must now shatter and violently rebuild itself to match this profound new vibration you are holding. You are going to witness sudden, perhaps even shocking, endings in the coming days and weeks. Relationships that you have tried desperately to fix for years will suddenly dissolve, and the heavy, exhausting cords attaching you to these karmic loops will be severed without warning. Opportunities, living situations, or deeply ingrained habits that belong to the old matrix will fall away from your life with a speed that might temporarily terrify your human ego. When this happens, the deeply conditioned human response is to immediately panic. The Matrix intentionally programmed you to view endings as massive failures, as a terrifying loss of security, and as a punishment for doing something wrong. It wants you to frantically scramble to glue the broken pieces of your old life back together. But the Arcturian Council asks you to look at these crumbling structures with profound galactic neutrality. These are not losses, Starseed. They are massive, divine, energetic evictions. The universe is aggressively clearing out anything and anyone that cannot survive in the high-frequency bandwidth you have just unlocked. The people and situations abruptly leaving your life right now are simply unable to breathe in the new energetic atmosphere you are creating. You must let them go entirely. Do not chase the people who are walking away. Do not mourn the collapse of systems that were built on the heavy illusion of your smallness. The Source did not cry tears of joy over your awakening just so you could run back into the burning building of your past. As these old structures fall away, you are going to enter a deeply uncomfortable space known as the cosmic void. It is the terrifying, silent gap between the reality you have outgrown and the majestic timeline you have not yet manifested. To the anxious human mind, this void feels like absolute nothingness, a terrifying darkness where nothing is happening and you are completely forgotten. But in the multi-dimensional realms, this void is the sacred womb of all creation. It is the pure, unmanifested quantum field where all possibilities exist simultaneously. The profound stillness you are about to feel is not stagnation. It is the breathless moment right before the universe delivers everything you have ever asked for. Your only job in this sacred void is to actively refuse to panic. The Matrix will try to test you one final time. It will send you familiar ghosts of your past, small manufactured emergencies, and loud echoes of old fears, just to see if you will lower your vibration and react. You must hold the line. You must remember the profound tears of the Source and stand firmly, unbothered, in your new sovereign frequency. Your new abundant reality is currently anchoring itself deeply into the physical plane, and it requires your absolute, unwavering trust to materialize. Now that the false structures of your reality are collapsing, and you are standing bravely in the profound silence of the cosmic void, you must turn your absolute attention to your physical vessel. The tears of the Source were not merely a distant emotional validation. They were a massive, concentrated download of high-frequency crystalline codes. And these magnificent codes are currently bombarding your biological suit. You might be deeply confused as to why, if you have just achieved this monumental spiritual victory, your human body feels so incredibly fragile, achy, or overwhelmingly exhausted right now. The Arcturian Council needs you to understand a fundamental truth. Your physical body is the sacred anchor for this entire planetary shift. You cannot bring the new Earth into existence merely through abstract thought or fleeting meditation. You must physically house the frequency. When that pure, unadulterated source energy hit your energetic field, it immediately began actively rewiring your central nervous system. For decades, your nervous system was tightly wound, trapped in the Matrix's endless, suffocating loop of survival, trauma, and exhausting hypervigilance. The heavy, dense energy of the 3D world literally crystallized in your joints, your organs, and the intricate pathways of your spine. Now, the overwhelming, brilliant light of the Source is aggressively shattering those dense, fear-based crystals. This is not sickness. This is a profound biological metamorphosis, and it requires immense amounts of your physical energy to process. You might suddenly develop intense, unexplainable aversions to the foods, the chaotic environments, or even the digital content you use to consume every single day. Do not force yourself to ingest the low vibrational fuel of the Matrix anymore. Your body is forcefully demanding absolute purity because it is being rapidly upgraded into a highly conductive multidimensional antenna. This deep biological upgrade is exactly why you are feeling an overwhelming, almost desperate urge to isolate right now. The sleeping collective of humanity is currently vibrating at a frantic frequency of profound fear, anger, and chaotic confusion as their familiar world begins to crumble. If you immerse your newly sensitive, completely raw energetic field into their dense chaos during this delicate time, it will feel like an actual physical assault. Your intense need for deep solitude is not a sign of depression, and it is certainly not a regression. It is a highly advanced instinctual defense mechanism encoded deeply within your Arcturian DNA. You are intuitively protecting the fragile new light codes you just received directly from the source. During this absolutely critical phase, you must treat your physical vessel with a level of radical, unapologetic reverence that you have never allowed yourself before. You have spent your entire life pouring your sacred energy into healing others, fixing profoundly broken situations, and carrying the heavy emotional weight of your entire ancestral lineage. The universe is officially relieving you of that exhausting duty today. The source cried for you because you finally realized that your primary mission is not to save the Matrix, but to completely unplug from it. By aggressively prioritizing your own physical and energetic stabilization right now, you are doing the most powerful cosmic grid work possible. You are literally shedding the heavy, carbon-based density of the human experience and activating your crystalline light body. Rest your vessel, drink pure water, and sit in absolute silence. The universe is actively recalibrating you for the massive galactic leadership role that awaits you on the other side of this transition. As you rest your physical vessel and allow these powerful source codes to fully integrate, you are going to notice a profound and immediate shift in how your reality responds to your thoughts. When the source wept, and your frequency fundamentally altered, the heavy, delayed manifestation loop of the 3D matrix was completely shattered for you. You have officially entered the quantum slipstream of instant creation. The Arcturian Council is closely monitoring this phase because it requires an unprecedented level of mental discipline from you. In the old matrix, you could afford to harbor lingering doubts, heavy resentments, or persistent fears, because the density of that realm meant your negative thoughts took months or even years to materialize. That safety net is gone. Your energetic field is now a highly conductive, unshielded magnet. What you focus on right now will materialize in your physical reality with a speed that is going to absolutely shock your human ego. This means that you must become fiercely, unapologetically protective of your mental real estate. You cannot afford to engage in the low vibrational gossip of the sleeping collective. You cannot afford to sit and catastrophize about a future that has not happened yet, because the universe is now taking your every thought as a literal, immediate command. When you feel the old, familiar panic trying to creep into your mind, the whispered lies that you are running out of time, or that the divine support you feel is just an illusion, you must aggressively pivot your focus. You must remember the profound cosmic victory you just achieved. The source did not clear your timeline just to watch you recreate the exact same prison out of your own unchecked fears. Because you are now operating in this accelerated quantum field, you are also going to witness the immediate energetic return of the light you have poured into this world. For years, you have selflessly given your love, your resources, and your profound wisdom to people and systems that gave you absolutely nothing but pain in return. You felt completely depleted, wondering if the universe was even keeping score. Hear this now. The universe kept perfect records. The karmic scales are violently rebalancing in your favor right now. The immense cosmic credit you have accumulated by holding the light in the darkest corners of the matrix is about to be paid out. You will start receiving sudden, unexplainable blessings. Financial resources will arrive from completely unexpected avenues. People carrying your exact soul signature, your true galactic soul tribe, are being magnetically pulled into your orbit right now. They will recognize you instantly, not by your human credentials, but by the undeniable source frequency you are now radiating. You are no longer meant to walk this path alone. The universe is actively assembling your multidimensional team on the physical plane, but to allow them in, you must completely drop the heavy armor you wore to survive the Matrix. Do not let the sudden arrival of true aligned support terrify your human ego. The Matrix conditioned you to believe that you had to bleed for everything, that love and support were conditional, and that if something felt too good to be true, it was a trap. You must aggressively dismantle that lie. When these new, high-vibrational people and opportunities arrive, your first instinct might be to push them away out of sheer conditioned terror. You might subconsciously try to sabotage the very blessings you have begged the universe to send you, simply because the peace they bring feels so unfamiliar to your traumatized nervous system. Stop. Breathe into the discomfort of this profound peace. Every tear you cried in absolute isolation has been alchemized and is returning to you as divine grace. The war for your frequency is over, and you have won. Now that your energetic field has been completely reset by the profound frequency of the source, you are stepping into an entirely new phase of your planetary assignment. The Arcturian Council needs you to understand that your days of actively fighting the Matrix, of exhausting yourself trying to manually wake up the sleeping collective, are officially over. The tears of the Creator were not just a cosmic validation. They were a massive energetic baptism. You have been formally upgraded from a tired frontline warrior to a walking, multi-dimensional portal of divine light. In the old Matrix paradigm, you deeply believed that to heal this broken world, you had to constantly do something. You felt you had to preach, to argue, to convince, and to constantly sacrifice your own precious peace to pull others out of the dark. But in this new quantum reality you have entered, your primary galactic function is simply to be. Because your physical vessel is now actively holding the uncorrupted, high vibrational codes of the source, your mere physical presence has become a highly disruptive energetic technology. You are going to notice a sudden, bizarre shift in how the unawakened human collective responds to you. Total strangers might suddenly confess their deepest, darkest traumas to you in completely ordinary places like the grocery store, drawn magnetically to the intense, unexplainable safety of your aura. Conversely, some people might become inexplicably triggered, angry, or even hostile in your presence, even if you have not spoken a single word to them. Do not take this personally, and whatever you do not shrink your brilliant light just to make them comfortable. Your stabilized frequency is acting as a massive, uncompromising mirror. It is forcefully bringing their deeply buried, unhealed shadows to the surface. You do not need to fix them. You only need to remain the unbothered sovereign observer. Your unwavering stillness is exactly the medicine they need to trigger their own awakening. This is the profound galactic mastery of the observer effect. When you look at the escalating chaos of this falling 3D world, the political theater, the economic fear, the intense societal panic, you must train yourself to look at it exclusively through the eyes of the source. If you react with terror, you actively feed the collapsing matrix. But if you observe the chaos with profound, high-frequency neutrality, knowing with absolute certainty that the old Earth must violently shatter for the new Earth to be born, your gaze literally collapses those dark timelines. You are neutralizing the planetary fear grid simply by refusing to emotionally participate in it. This is the staggering, unimaginable power you wield right now. This is exactly why the dark entities fought so aggressively to keep you depressed, sick, and distracted. They knew that once you remembered how to hold this neutral, loving frequency, their parasitic control over this planet would be permanently broken. Because of this immense, newly activated power, the Arcturian Council must issue a strict warning regarding your spoken words. You are now operating as a fully conscious co-creator with the universe. The heavy, protective delay between what you speak and what physically manifests has been entirely removed from your timeline. You must aggressively and permanently purge your vocabulary of any language rooted in lack, victimization, or human limitation. If you casually speak of being broke, the universe will instantly agree and lock that dense reality in. If you constantly speak of being exhausted and broken, your physical cells will immediately obey that command. You must speak only of your absolute sovereign power, your radiant multi-dimensional health, and your infinite overflowing abundance. Speak to your physical reality as a master commanding pure energy, not as a terrified prisoner begging the Matrix for a reprieve. The Source has officially handed you the keys to the kingdom. It is time you start speaking, walking, and commanding your reality exactly like the galactic royalty you truly are. As we bring this urgent transmission to its grand conclusion, you must understand the immense gravity of the new timeline you have just entered. The tears of the Source were the ultimate cosmic seal of approval on your journey thus far, but they were also a clarion call for the monumental work that lies immediately ahead. You have successfully navigated the darkest, most treacherous, and dense layers of the human matrix, and you have emerged not as a broken victim, but as a sovereign, multi-dimensional master of light. The universe is no longer asking you to simply survive the chaos of this planet. It is officially commanding you to rise above it and become the unbreakable lighthouse you were always destined to be. The grand waiting period is over. The agonizing cosmic delays that frustrated your human ego for so many years have been completely dissolved by the sheer, undeniable force of your newly stabilized frequency. The Arcturian Council, the Galactic Federation of Light, and your entire multi-dimensional soul tribe are standing at attention right now, watching with profound reverence as you finally take your rightful leadership place on the physical plane. You are no longer an apprentice in the dense school of Earth. You are a fully activated, walking, breathing portal of source energy. Your physical vessel, your energetic field, and the very words you speak are now heavily encoded with the divine power to literally alter the fabric of reality around you. Do not let the desperate, remaining illusions of the dying 3D matrix convince you that you are small, insignificant, or powerless ever again. When the collapsing control systems try to pull you back into the heavy vibration of financial fear or societal panic, you must simply smile and remember the absolute, unshakable truth. Your light made the ultimate creator weep with joy. You hold the highest cosmic frequency, and the dense forces know it. They are terrified of the unbothered, sovereign, brilliantly shining starseed you have become. Your mere peaceful existence on this planet right now is the greatest act of energetic rebellion the universe has ever witnessed. You are the vital, living bridge between the collapsing old Earth and the glorious, crystalline new Earth. You are the breathing proof that pure, uncorrupted source love always conquers density. Step out into your daily life today with the absolute, uncompromising confidence of galactic royalty. Demand the infinite abundance you deserve. Speak your ancient cosmic truth without a single drop of human apology. And most importantly, allow yourself to finally experience the profound, overflowing joy and ease that the universe has been desperately trying to hand you. Before you leave this sacred space, you must physically anchor this victorious new timeline into the 3D grid. Go to the comments right now and boldly declare to the cosmos, I accept my new timeline of abundance and light. Reply to another Starseeds declaration to massively amplify our collective frequency. Subscribe to this channel right now if you are ready to fully unplug from the Matrix and continue receiving these direct Arcturian upgrades. Like this video to seal your multi-dimensional victory into your physical field. Some transmissions don't come through words, they come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 4. 500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. Arcturian Secrets. 12. Hidden Keys to Awakening is a 47-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multi-dimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment. Only 72 hours at the launch price.